Tamakon Hausa. Jami'ar mu. Tamakon Hausa. Bayero ta yi suna. Ƙungiyar Hausa ta mu. Shashin Hausa ta jami'ar Bayero ta mu.
Bayero University is currently undergoing an uncommon transformation under the administration of the current Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abubakar Rasheed, MNI, MFR. When the current Vice-Chancellor was saddled with the power to steer the ship of the institution, the university was in the state of infrastructural dystopia. But with the right combination of political will and strong ambition by the current Vice-Chancellor, Bayero University has been transformed into a renowned university in Nigeria. It will be pertinent to take a cursory look at the face of Bayero University before now. The university was established in 1977 as an offshoot of Abdullahi Bayero College. The seed of the university was originally the Ahmadu Bello College, set up in 1960, located within the School for Arabic Studies, SAS. In the ancient city of Kano, with the establishment of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in 1962, it was renamed Abdullahi Bayero College. In 1964, it moved to a temporary site at the old site at Old KANO Airport Hotel, admitting its first set of 10 undergraduate students of BA degree program of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. Before then, the temporary site had attracted hostile fire during the Civil War and had to move to its permanent site, the present Old Campus, in the vicinity of Kabuga-Gorizo Road. The next phase of the development occurred in 1975, when Abdullahi Bayero College was raised to the status of University College, with the right to award degrees on behalf of Ahmadu Bello University, and was renamed Abdullahi Bayero University College, with its own governing council. All university colleges in Nigeria were raised to the status of full-fledged universities in 1977 by the federal government, and Abdullahi Bayero College became Bayero University Kano, BUK. The establishment was backed by the promulgation of BUK Decree No. 79 of 1979. The Federal College, in its bid to restore normalcy after the Civil War, embarked on nationwide developmental program. This cut across all tertiary institutions. This set the pace for infrastructural development in Bayero University. Dr. Muhammad Tuko, the principal of the University College, became its pioneer Vice-Chancellor from 1977 to 1978, leading to the team that laid the foundation and initiated the process that gave rise to the present permanent site. Many Vice-Chancellors have contributed to the development of Bayero University. Among them are Professor James O.C. Ezeilo from 1978 to 1979, Professor Ibrahim H. Umar from 1979 to 1986, Professor Dendati Abdulkadir from 1986 to 1991, Professor M.M. Zaharuddin from 1991 to 1995, Professor Baba Dantadi from 1995 to 1999, Professor Musa Abdullahi from 1999 to 2004, Professor Denjuma A. Mewada, active Vice Chancellor from 2004 to 2005, and Professor Atairu M. Jega from 2005 to 2010. It is pertinent to note that all the aforementioned Vice Chancellors contributed immensely to the development of Bayero University, but the greatest feat was achieved by Professor Adamu A. Rasheed. Under the current Vice-Chancellor, the university witnesses an uncommon transformation. The Vice-Chancellor of Bayero University Kano, Professor Abubakar Rasheed, is a level-headed and celestially attuned soul personality, as he is stripped of his confrontational habiliment and gladiatorial homilies. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., an individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. This is the picture painted by the Vice-Chancellor, as his administration's will of change has affected every section of the school. One would be hard-pressed to name a Vice-Chancellor in Bayero University since the second half of the 20th century who did more for BUKites and indeed members of the university community than Rasheed. If he was an American or a European, the school would have placed him in the same league as Winston Churchill, Roosevelt, Charles D. Goli, and many others. To truly appreciate the greatness of the Vice-Chancellor, all you need do is to take a look at the men and women who now dot and have dotted our public space. Martin Luther King Jr., while making that great speech captioned "I have a dream," said, "Change does not roll in on the wings of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle." This is clearly seen in the Vice-Chancellor, as he has midwifed some ideas and policies that are very helpful to the school, of which we all speak with glee. However, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor administration, Professor Segir Issa Redda, stepped into the shoes of historians and the chroniclers of events as he took us down memory lane for a comparative analysis of the Vice-Chancellor's achievements and that of his predecessors.
Frankly speaking, it will be fairly a difficult job for me to assess the BC because I'm part of this administration. All the same, I would say that in the history of BAYERO University, KANO, we have never seen a Vice-Chancellor that has positively transformed BAYERO University, KANO, like Professor Abubakar and Rasheed. Let me tell you that I've been in this university since 1984 as a student and as a staff. I have seen the Vice-Chancellors beginning from I.H. Umar, Danjati Abubakar, Sani Zaharuddin, Dambati, Bello Dambata, Musa Abdullahi, and Tahir Jega, to the current Vice-Chancellor. I must tell you that there is not a single Vice-Chancellor that has positively impacted on BAYERO University like Professor Abubakar and Rasheed. He has done a lot. He has done a lot in the area of infrastructure. You can go around, see for yourself the monumental buildings we have had. About equipping all the laboratories. He has done a lot regarding lecture theatres. He has done a lot regarding lecture rooms. He has done a lot regarding staff welfare, staff training. We are the only university that has been able to send many academics around the world on fellowship and on seminars and conferences. I also want to tell you that the Vice-Chancellor has always looked after the welfare of the staff and the students. You can see our hostels. You can see the landscaping that has been done, the rehabilitation that has been done. So it's a wonderful job that we have not seen. We hope that future leaders in the university will be even better. Well, many of them, quite a number of them, because some of them may be started halfway, but the university will use its internally generated revenue to complete it. If you look at the road network in the university, the entire road network in the university was done using our IGR. So there are quite a number of projects. Moreover, the conferences, the meetings we hold, the traveling we do, are not done with government money, are done with the university money.
Some lecturers in university also aired their views on the achievements of Professor Abubakar Rasheed. First on the list was the EEP giant, Professor Murtala Sabo Sagagi of the Business Administration and Entrepreneurial Department, who opined that the Vice-Chancellor is ideas-driven, going by the postulation of Socrates, when he said, "Small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, but great minds discuss ideas."
That BAYERO University KANO in the last 5, 6, 7 years has been transformed into what we are now beginning to see as entrepreneurial university. Around the world, if you go, that people don't talk about university. We are excellent in engineering, we are excellent in law. Now we are thinking about entrepreneurial universities. A university that if you join that university, you're going to come out as one of the example of successful people. These are universities that do not rely on government or one or two individuals for funding. They have so many ways to get resources, and I think that's one of the major success of this Vice-Chancellor. He was able to open BAYERO University KANO to possibilities. He's someone that appreciates ideas. when you sit down with a vice-chancellor, you have to be willing to sacrifice 1 hour out of your day's 24 hours in order to accommodate, in most cases, ideas. Because you'll be bringing ideas right, left, and center. If you are not careful, you will go without, if you are not writing, you may not be able to even get most of the ideas he's given. So he's somebody who has ideas and he appreciates ideas. One of the things that I personally enjoy working with him, one thing is Vice Chancellor is not someone that I was very close to before he became the Vice Chancellor. In fact, I didn't know much about him. He didn't know much about me before he became the Vice Chancellor. But because of the powers of ideas, we connect. So, and it's ideas that produce possibilities. So that's why now he'll just sit down and before you know it, he has an idea on how to get money to build X faculty. Now we have some ideas to get X millions for indigent students. So that's what transformed Bayero University Kano, entrepreneurship, because the leaders we had in the last few years have been entrepreneurial. They didn't close themselves in the office to say that we are administrators, we are vice chancellors rolling around on chairs. No, they walk, they talk. They think, they appreciate other people's ideas, and they try to challenge people to go out there and get things for this university. If you go to Faculty of Agriculture, we secured billions in that faculty. And how did we get it? It's not the Vice Chancellor who sat down and wrote the proposals, but he challenged the faculty, and now we got billions.
He further spoke on the astronomical increase in the number of faculties, lecture halls, and students' welfare and quality of lecturers.
This university is going to miss Rasheed for one thing. He makes everything fun, to be honest with you. If you meet with him, you don't want the meeting to end. Well, sometimes when we go on retreats, the retreat may last for 2 days, or it may go for 3-4 days. Because the way he carries people, sometimes I used to personally think maybe he's doing too much. You know, if you do all this public relations, then what time do you have to do your own job? But I realized that even though he does all that, he also does his own job. So to me, it's a miracle because I cannot do it. I cannot be able to spend so much time talking to people, talking to everybody, and still come and do the job. Sometimes I have to lock my door in order to sit down and do something. But for him, he doesn't lock his door. His door is always open. Yet he's getting the job done. So to me, it's a kind of a miracle. So the way he managed is, to be honest with you, is fantastic. And I think he's one individual that we are going to remember because of the way he's trying to decentralize. You know, when you have an organization and all decisions go to the VC, and then there is a problem because one person cannot manage 30-something thousand students. I mean, it's not done. But now he's trying to make sure that he decentralizes so that respective officers down the ladder can take decisions and actions without necessarily going to the top. And that's one of the most effective ways to manage organization.
Also interviewed was Professor Aliu Dauda of the Education Department, who said the achievements of the Vice Chancellor dwarfed that of his predecessors.
As far as this development is concerned, it's a tremendous giant step because we were at the former place we left, a little bit congested, we were crowded, and some of us even don't have offices. No Vice Chancellor had ever done so much to Bayero University in terms of capital project than Professor Abubakar had done. No Vice Chancellor. Indeed, if you can quantify the kind of structure that had actually born up in the university, I believe throughout the history of Bayero University, if the calculation would be made carefully, you'll see that very close to 45% of structures in the university have been under the influence of Professor Abubakar now. 45%, as much as that. Structures erode. 45% could be attributed to this single personality.
Furthermore, Dr. Ibrahim Bello of the Sociology Department, popularly referred to as scholar by his students and numerous fans, simply went philosophical in describing the Vice-Chancellor by making allusion to the Aristotelian postulation that no society can survive beyond the level of its own knowledge.
Aristotle is a giant of knowledge, somebody who has interest in the development of knowledge. If you look at it, you remember the categorization of human society made by Aristotle. And he says the society is the bloody empty. The followers, the leaders, and the wise men. And he says the wise men provide a better contributory role to the development of human society more than anything. And therefore they should be given, that they should be accorded the right to recognition. And that is what this Vice-Chancellor is doing. And we are going to miss him for that.
So, sir, why you wait?
Aristotle said that no society can live beyond the level of its own knowledge. That is what Aristotle said. Yeah. If you think, if you ask a question whether you'll be able to develop, Aristotle said, are you educated? What is the level of education? So these are the issues. So he's good. He's a good person. You see, on the other hand, he is excellent in the sense that he was able to use the resources that were due, that were given to him adequately, to do what is required, to look at the most required things in the society, within the community, and do it. Look at this red networking. Look at the bypass that is going. All these are things that are good. Look at the new faculties, the new departments that are being created in order to expand the capacity of beauty as a citadel of knowledge. So all these things.
Wakata makon Hausa, jami'ar mu ta makon Hausa, Bayero ta yi suna. Ƙungiyar Hausa ta mu, shashin Hausa ta jami'ar Bayero ta mu.
Hostels are now wearing new look as the Vice-Chancellor continued to touch all aspects of the university with his wind of change. This he did by making use of the second semester break to renovate the hostels. The hostels were painted, had its frontage tiled, the rooms' ceilings were changed, and the rooms had new fans. At the frontage of the Idris Garba Hall, street lights were mounted to further beautify the surrounding and to save students from not necessarily going to the library or classes at night, but to read in the frontage of their hostels. Towards the entrance of the school, street lights are also mounted to bring about illumination to motorists and even pedestrians, as cars and people are seen having a smooth sail, either to their various homes or hostels. The Al-Hassan Dantata Hall is not left out in the Vice-Chancellor's bid to make life better for students, as it also has its frontage well leveled with gravel stones, street lights, and nice painting. Also, the Aliko Dangote Hall, which was donated by the then Intercontinental Bank PLC, now known as Access Bank, and was officially opened by the then Honorable Minister of Education under the Obasanjo regime, Mrs. Chinwe Obaji, on Monday, May 15, 2006, follows suit as street lights, beautifully painted building, and trees were planted to beautify the whole environment.
Actually, we have a leader who is a leader that is leading by example. Because in other situations, there are people who are vice-chancellors in their institutions, they collect the ETF money and whatever, and you don't see any progress on the ground or any project on the ground. But the current vice-chancellor has done so much for the university. When you came to the UK 5 years ago and you return this year, you will forget it is Bayero University. Look at all the structures that are going on. look at how the place is filled up. Before, I could remember where the Center of Excellence is. There are people farming there about 5 years ago. So now every space is filled up with work, and every day there is work going on. And all this is because we have an erudite Vice-Chancellor whose concern is for the development of the people of BAYERO University, the staff of BAYERO University generally, the students of BAYERO University generally, and everything about BAYERO University in these last few years is just wonderful. And it is to the credit of the Vice-Chancellor, because no matter how much money is given, if the person who is the leader is not willing to spend that money, you may not see any development. But this is a Vice-Chancellor that is generally liked by everybody. And he is so hard-working that to find somebody that you can compare him with, you have to look perhaps one in a hundred. Actually, words are not enough to express how we generally feel about moving from the old place to the new faculty of education. Because it is an effort that was made by the former Minister of Education, who is a member of the department, Professor Abubakar. She makes sure that the fitting faculty of education is good. And as you can see, it is, I could say, the best faculty of education in Nigeria as a whole, because it is as big as a university in Nigeria. When you look at the structures that we have and the quality of the structure that we have with the furnishings that are modern and up to date, and
To maintain gender equity, equality, and to avoid what is described in the legal cycle as jungle justice, the girls' hostels were not left out. From the Ramat Halls A and B to Hasia BAYERO Hall and the postgraduate students' hall, including the laundry arena where students washed their plates and clothes, all in one compound, received a befitting treatment as these buildings were renovated. All these humanitarian deeds by the Vice-Chancellor to make students comfortable in their hostels, what baffled students most was the fact that there was no increment in accommodation fees. The hall administrator of El Kanemi and Idris Garba House, Malam Rufai Sagir, said Professor Abubakar Rasheed has brought professionalism into the administrations of the hostels, as all hall administrators are now graduates.
We have to go back to history. Before, the hostels are under one, here in New Side, one hall administrator and his assistant. But during this administration, under his Professor Abubakar Rasheed, he created 10 commands. 10 commands, 10 hall administrator in each and every hostel. So we have 10 hostels in BAYERO University.
as a whole, both old and new site?
Yes. Before, some of the hall administrators, I have told, we have only one hall administrator at new campus, one hall administrator at all the campus. But now we have 10 commands, and all the 10 commands, we have 10 hall administrators, and all those 10 hall administrators are graduates. So there will be a lot of efficiency.
The hall administrator of Lemi and Idris Global House, Malam Rufai Segel, further spoke on the maintenance of the houses, as he said the Vice-Chancellor has broken the bureaucracy involved hitherto in the hostel maintenance.
Not only in the hostel, because tanker services to bring water to us, and we have concerning the street light. Of course, it will help security issue and beautify the place, as you can see. So it is welcome development, honestly speaking, and all like I have told you. All these before they are not like this. We have only the hostel is taken care by company, under company. So there is no efficiency before. But nowadays, the cleaners are washing toilet. We used to wash toilet twice a day, twice per day. In the morning, in the evening, exactly.
Thank you.
A cross-section of students in the university from different departments and levels were also interviewed to allow them air their views on the achievements of the Vice-Chancellor, and they have this to say.
Actually, this recent VCA, I would say honestly he's doing a good job in this school, because I got admission into the school through DE actually. The achievement I've seen so far from then to this time is really tried. In the aspect of the social life and all that, start from the social life. And VCA has did so many things for the student, because I was a witness during the previous set of SUG. He gave out 1 million out of his pocket, not the school money, just for the student to feel happy and all that.
For example, you see the school, let me say the recognition of the hostels, the departments, and even the lecturers. You see, maybe when I know this school before, the lecturers sometimes they will miss the lectures, maybe they will fix a day. Maybe if I'm having lectures today, I will tell you that maybe tomorrow I will fix 2 to 12. And some of the students do used to attend the lectures, but recently now everything has changed. Most of the lecturers used to attend their lectures on time, meaning that they've upgraded their level of education and the lectures.
Well, though when he assumed office till date, I wasn't a student of this school, but to be frank, the achievement of the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abubakar Rasheed, has been very marvelous. He has done a lot. If you look at the infrastructural development he has laid on ground in the UK, of course, they are very, very wonderful. And for me, who is from mass communication, Professor Rasheed has approved the inauguration of the new faculty of communication and media studies, and he has even awarded a contract for the construction of that building. So the achievements are enormous. Look at the roads constructions he has laid around faculty of education. Look at the new buildings he has erected in those areas. Look at the new school of business studies around towards the entrance of the school, and look at another building here. petrochemicals engineering. Look at the infrastructural development in the school. They are quite enormous, they are quite marvelous. And not only on infrastructural areas, but Professor Rasheed has, equipped the university with a lot of teaching aids, teaching facilities. He has sponsored a lot of academic lecturers to go to schools abroad. The university has participated in a lot of competition. Look at the recent development even in the university. I think it was the first time BUK secured huge money from the World Bank, about $8 billion from the World Bank on dry land agriculture. This is an achievement that is achieved under Professor A. Rasheed. While the bureaucratic nature of our work demands continuity, so they may have that opinion anyway, but in my opinion, because if you look at Bayero University, they have what they call a plan. That plan defines what you should do as a vice-chancellor. So whoever that emerges as a vice-chancellor has to work in conformity with that plan. So he will not deviate. The plan is just a roadmap for him to actually see what to do, see the structures on ground, and see where he could build on. So in my opinion, I don't think if Professor Rasheed leaves office, we will not have somebody who will take over, who will do more than he did, because government is a system and it will continue.
The Bayero University Microfinance Bank Limited came into existence in April 2014 and it received license in September 2014. It, however, had a formal opening for business in October 2014. Therefore, it is now in its 9th month of operation. It works with other banks because it has not received license from Central Bank. The banks it works with are Stanbic IBTC Bank and Fidelity Bank PLC, which provide the necessary corresponding relationships for Bayero University Microfinance Bank. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abubakar Rasheed, in a bid to creating awareness for the bank, made it mandatory for undergraduate students to pay their hostel fees in the bank and postgraduate students to pay their acceptance fees through the bank. In the bank's bid to ensure the security of its customers and staff members, it built an apartment at the entrance of the bank premises where its security man can thoroughly search those going into the bank to forestall negative occurrences such as bomb explosion. The wind of change which blew throughout the new site of the university does not stop there, as the old campus of the university has also witnessed tremendous monumental achievements. The Department of Anatomy under the Faculty of Biomedical Sciences was constructed in order to train and expose students to the science that deals with the form and structure of organic bodies, anatomical structures and organization. Also, under the current administration, a multipurpose laboratory was built under the Faculty of Science for the benefits of students of applied biology and plant science, chemistry, microbiology, zoology, among others. Center for Biotechnology was also built. This is intended to train students on how to use biological processes, organisms or systems to manufacture products intended to improve the quality of human life. The earliest biotechnologists were farmers who developed improved species of plants and animals by cross-pollination or cross-breeding. The singular reason for man's creation is to worship Allah. This is further justified in a book written by M. Fethullah Gulen when he said, "For God says, I created man and jinn for no other purpose than to worship me only." Dariyat 51 verse 56. Professor Abubakar Rasheed, not being a narrow-minded or one-sided Homo sapiens, took the bull by the horn by renovating the mosque and making sure that it is conducive for worship. Mr. Moshood Oyebanji Oyewole, the branch manager of Fidelity Bank, Bayero University branch, said off camera that the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abubakar Rasheed, is a Vice-Chancellor of all, as he gives all banks a level playing field to operate. The branch manager of Fidelity Bank, Bayero University branch, Mr. Moshood Oyebanji Oyewole, further stated that Bayero University KANO is a beehive of activities which makes banks to wanting to come and establish in the school. Other banks providing services to members of the university community include Sterling Bank, which came in late 2005 after the recapitalization exercise of Nigeria as the first bank in the campus and was commissioned by the then Emir of KANO, Alhaji Dr. Ado Bayero, represented by Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, who was the then district head of Dalasarkin Dawakin Sakargida. Others include First Bank, which came into the campus on 3rd May 2012, Guarantee Trust Bank PLC, and Eco Bank, which came in on 2nd February 2013. The Vice-Chancellor has gone an extra mile to secure funding for the university through the members of the House of Assembly, non-governmental organizations, and even individuals. This was demonstrated as the former Vice President, Architect Nambadi Sambu, inaugurated some of the tertiary education trust fund projects, such as the Amadou Adamu Muazu Stadium, named after the then People's Democratic Party National Chairman, and the Faculty of Education buildings. Others include a 360 female students hostel and the foundation laying of the International Conference Center built by Senator Bello Hayatu Gorzu. Other buildings funded by some individuals include the General Theophilus Denjuma building and the ongoing construction of School of Business BAYERO University KANO, sponsored by Dangote Foundation 2013. Other newly erected buildings are the Department of Crop Protection and the Department of Agronomy, all under Faculty of Agriculture. We also have the Center for Dryland Agriculture, commissioned by Dr. Koli Shetima, Country and Africa Director, the John D. and Catherinet T. Makato Foundation on Monday, February 17, 2014. We also have the Academic Staff Union University's BUK Pharmaceutical Chemist, meant to reduce the pressure of students on the new campus clinic, and the BAYERO University Senate Building Complex, which is still under construction. The alteration and extension of the Political Science Department building under the 2013 NACE Assessment Intervention Project has taken center stage, as the Department of Sociology building has just been completed for use. The Center for Information Technology, otherwise known as Julius Berger Learning Center, is a center that houses a lot of computer systems, as it is a place used for seminars and conferences. Recently, the Voice of America, in collaboration with Mass Communication Department, BAYERO University KANO, held a one-week seminar on entrepreneurial journalism. It is aimed at training students and lecturers of the department to be entrepreneurial journalists, to enable them to be self-reliant, using ICTs to further help them become job givers instead of job seekers. The program was convened by the Broadcasting Board of Governors, a body directly funded by the President of America.
To be the best, #1 and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, oh I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, oh, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions.
Waka ta makon Hausa, jami'ar mu ta makon Hausa, Bayero ta yi suna. Ƙungiyar Hausa ta mu, shashin Hausa ta jami'ar Bayero ta mu.